Hello everyone. Laura Sprague here. Many of you have reached out to me about my post that I did a couple days ago about the oxytocin post and how the brain does not have the ability to store motivation. And so I've gotten a lot of requests saying, hey, I want to learn more about this. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a webinar. I'm recording this. And I apologize if any of you had troubles getting on. I had difficulties with the link, but I'm going to go ahead and record this anyway and send this out to you for those who are interested in learning more about how you can rewire the brain. So once again, the brain does not have the ability to store motivation. Okay, so I had this holy moly moment when I discovered that, because I thought, I thought that my calling for years was to be a motivational speaker. Many of you have heard that before. Yeah, motivational speakers are really good, but what does that mean? Especially when I discovered that the brain doesn't have the ability to store motivation. So I had to dig a little bit deeper, and I've done a lot of research, and I've done a lot of interviews, got to pick the brains of a lot of really cool people. And so one of the people that I got to interview was Dr. Shad Helmstetter. He's the author of What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and he's the author of The Power of Neuroplasticity. So I'm not going to get too technical here. I'm not going to get too much into the science terms, but what I do want to do is lay the foundation for you so that you can understand it, of how you can rewire the brain. Many of you are going, yes, I want to know right now. I'm going to give you 2 specific steps, but before I get into that, I want to go ahead and challenge all of you, those who are listening, to really figure out what you're an expert at. You don't have to answer it right now. You'd be thinking about this, or you can pause it as this is a recording. You can pause it and really think about what you're an expert at. And an expert is a person who has spent 10,000 hours or more at doing something. So for instance, just to think about it for a little bit, I'm an expert at being depressed. I'm an expert at having anxiety. And I'm also an expert at wanting other people's opinions and pleasing them. So those are not good things for you to be an expert at, but many of you probably are. And that's why you're hungry and want to know how you can rewire the brain. So I'm also wanting to let you know that I'm an expert at cheering people on, and I am an expert at getting people to take action. So you can rest assured that in my research, again, you don't have to believe me, but rest assured I am very confident in what I'm talking about today. So I love helping people overcome depression and anxiety specifically, because that's what I've dealt with. And I've seen results really, really fast with the method that I've been developing over the last couple of years. But I'm going to go ahead and challenge you right now, okay, because we want to go from negative to positive. We want to know how to do that. But I want to ask you, if you have been saying, I'm not good enough, have you been saying, I can't? Have you been saying, I'm stuck? Phrases like that cause the whole being, the whole brain to go into this mode where you become it. So I'm a huge fan of positive affirmations. The things that you repeat over and over again is what you become. You know, if you've listened to Life in Purple, that's my tag phrase at the end of the episode. But I really want to ask you if you've been saying any of those. And then I'm going to say, how many times have you been saying those? Again, the thing that you say to yourself, even out loud, is what you become. The thing you dwell on is what happens. So what are some things that can first, maybe you're wondering this, what can first set yourself into a negative mindset? What are some of those things? Well, I've written some things down for you. They're not by any means the only thing that can cause negativity, but they are pretty, some of the major things. So first we have trauma and tragedy. So you could probably figure that out. And we have car accidents, we have domestic violence, sexual abuse, bullying, verbal abuse, and well, the loss of a loved one also. Like I said, this is not the only list, but this is things that you can probably start thinking about and saying, you know what, I can relate to that. You know, for me specifically, I've experienced sexual abuse, and then of course that's led into the whole where my self-worth is at, and maybe some of you have experienced the same thing, or just even verbal abuse by parents or loved ones, you know, and domestic violence. Maybe you've been in a bad marriage and you just got divorced. All of these things can trigger something in the brain for you to start thinking negative. And so negativity is very much an addiction. You've heard the phrase, misery loves company, right? Well, how do we get from negative to positive? Well, I'm really excited to share with you that you can do it. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it is easy, but I will tell you that it's simple, very simple to understand. So there are several things that happen in the body, specifically stress hormones, that release when you're negative. So in my post, I mentioned that if you Google negative brains, the scans of negative brains, people who think negatively, you will discover that it's very similar to someone who's addicted to cocaine. Now, you can't tell me that negativity is not an addiction. It really is. And I want you all to understand that there are specific things that you can do to overcome that. So negativity. I'm just going to sit right here for a second and go ahead and point out that it's very biblical for the rest of the things that I'm about to tell you. It's very biblical for us to rewire our brains into the positive, because the Bible says scripturally, I have some scriptures I want to share with you. Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish, right? You've heard that one before. And then Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh, so is he. And I just want to go ahead and throw those verses out there for you to lay the foundation of what I'm about to tell you. So negativity can cause horrible things to your body. So what are some of the stress hormones that are produced when you're negative? First of all, cortisol. Cortisol is the mother lode, the mother leader of your stress hormones. And then we have oxytocin. Oxytocin, yes, is a stress hormone, but it actually works on the good side of things. And I can't wait to share with you on how you can do that. But then you have adrenaline. And then have you heard of adrenaline junkies, right? Yeah. Adrenaline junkies, they like to go and do all these things like jump off cliffs, bungee jumping, and skydiving. That's really cool. The body produces adrenaline. But too much cortisol and too much adrenaline cause your body to go into all kinds of crazy things. And so I want to help you specifically switch, rewire. So how do you do that? How do you rewire the brain? Well, if you've heard any of my episodes off of Life in Purple, by the way, I don't know if all of you know this, but I have a podcast called Life in Purple, and you can find it at liptalknation.com. But you've heard me say that you can, are you ready for this? Are you taking notes? You can be positive. How do you be positive? Well, the very first thing that I like to help people with or share with people what I have done personally is to practice the grateful heart exercise. And you're like, what does that even mean? Practicing a grateful heart exercise is something that you can do without speaking, okay? So when I have somebody come to me and they're crying or they're just at their lowest point, they're at breaking point, I listen to their story and meet them in their belief system, check mine first, but meet them in their belief system. And I really challenge them to practice putting things that they're thankful for or grateful for around their heart. This doesn't even require you to speak at all. So you can put God, family, chocolate, yoga pants, food, whatever you're thankful for, you can put it around your heart, because that's the thing that we want to protect. While you're doing that, here's a really cool thing that's happening. I mentioned about oxytocin. Oxytocin is a stress hormone, but it's also known as the feel-good hormone, and that one works in your favor to help lower the cortisol and lower the adrenaline. And so what you want to do is you want to help your body naturally produce oxytocin. So you may think that it's not much. Here you are putting whatever you're thankful for. And you may even have a passive aggressive face. I know that I had before, but when I was at breaking point, I was very hungry to figure out and to learn how to be more positive, because I was just done. My body was locking up on me. I was tired of not feeling good. So I discovered that your body can naturally produce oxytocin. that feel-good hormone. Did you also know that oxytocin allows you to trust? It's also known as the trust hormone. So I just want to throw that out there for you. Okay, so we got the grateful heart exercise. That's what I call it. It's nothing fancy. But if you guys come up with another name that's totally cool, send it in to me. But that's one thing that you can do. All right, you got that so far? So far, so good? All right. So the second thing that I really want to probably talk a little bit more about is positive affirmations. Oh my goodness. Some of you are probably thinking that's a bunch of baloney. Well, you're allowed to think that. That's what I would say to you. But I would put that to the test. I would challenge you to do it for yourself. So positive affirmations have affected my life in a very huge way. Why do I do them? Why do I encourage people to do them? I encourage people to do them because it does affect your belief system. Remember, that's what we're doing. We want to go from negative to positive. So what are you telling yourself? I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I'm not pretty enough. You start comparing yourself to other people. And then how many times are you doing that a day? You see that the cortisol and the adrenaline and even endorphins, even the epinephrine, it's a neurotransmitter, by the way, that's a negative one, they start producing in your body. And so why are you allowed to tell yourself that over and over again, but not use positive affirmations? So think of it this way. You're actually saying negative affirmations. Who wants to do that? So again, it's something that you may not realize that you're doing. Depression is no fun. Many people want to overcome it. So positive affirmations can look like this. The very first one that I did, and I was actually kind of embarrassed initially when I first did this, but the very first one that I did, I was in the shower. I remember when I discovered affirmations, positive affirmations, I was taking a shower, of course by myself, but I started saying, I am beautiful. And you see, I discovered that you have to say it at least 12 times in a row, out loud. So I was going to put it to the test because I'm like, I'm not so sure if this is true or not, but I'm going to go ahead and try it. So I started saying, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. By the time I got to number 4, you guys, I was bawling my eyeballs out because I knew deep down in my core that I did not believe it. I was struggling. So many of you are probably struggling. I get it. I lived in my PJs for 5 days at a time. What is a shower? I took one whenever I felt like it, which was maybe once a week. Brushing my teeth, maybe twice a week. Not cool. But I am beautiful. How many of you are struggling with that very thing in your belief system? So, you can even pause the recording right now and go ahead and try it. I've had many people have breakthroughs saying one phrase 12 times in a row. And you guys, when I said I am beautiful in that 4th time, I was crying all the way to the end. I was weeping because the little girl inside of me was struggling to be noticed, struggling to be happy. And so positive affirmations not only affect your belief system, but also helps you produce oxytocin, the feel-good hormone. And so what do you want to do naturally to help conquer depression and anxiety? Well, let's practice the grateful heart exercise, but let's also try some positive affirmations. There's other things that you can do too. Another one that I like to encourage people to do is say, even though I feel, and then fill in the blank. So for instance, even though I feel stressed, okay? So maybe some of you can read. Even though I feel stressed, I fully and completely accept myself. And I see myself thriving. I see myself succeeding. Do you see what I mean? So even though, and then fill in the blank, I fully and completely accept myself, and then I see myself and fill in the blank. Very simple, very easy. So even though I feel depressed, I fully and completely accept myself and I see myself having energy. How about that? Do you understand what I'm saying? So not only are you talking to yourself, and I really challenge you to do at least 12 times in a row, initially starting out loud. It's going to be a challenge for some of you, but I challenge you to do it. Like I said, it's not going to be easy, but it is simple. And you may experience a little bit of emotional detox going through that, but that's okay. You're supposed to, because probably 9 times out of 10, you're not letting yourself feel. And I've interviewed a lot of people who said that you need to let yourself feel to heal, especially Dr. Michael Brandt DeMaria. He's one of those who encourage others just to let all the emotions out. And I believe that emotions and feelings are a gift. So rewiring the brain. All right. So those who are depressed, those who are negative, do you know that they base decisions off of their emotions, which is on the back side of your brain? Yes. The more you do that, the more you lose logic, which is on the front side of your brain. Oh my goodness. So I want to read something to you that I have read in The Power of Neuroplasticity. Can you see it? Yes. The Power of Neuroplasticity. And this is from Dr. Shad Helmstetter. He says, so he's talking about how science has discovered ways to have brain scans, to read the brain, to find out the activities that are going on in the brain while people are thinking. And he said for the first time, scientists saw that the human brain, instead of being set and static, continually reprogrammed and restructured itself. They saw that the brain grew and changed moment by moment, input by input, and thought by thought. The brain was plastic, malleable, and it was not only growing new neurons, it was rewiring itself. And this amazing plasticity wasn't only happening in the brains of the young. So I really want to point out that too, not only to the young. So maybe the excuse is, oh, you're young and you can do that. So not only for the young, here it is. Yes. Sorry, I just totally lost my place. Rewiring and brains for the young. It was happening throughout the entire lifetime of each individual. Did you catch that? The whole entire lifetime. So no matter if you're 90 years old, 100 years old, 75 years old, 65, 50, 39, it's totally rewiring. And with the discovery that the brain is continually rewiring itself, is based on new input that it receives. We had finally found the scientific holy grail of personal growth. And so I really want you all to catch that. You can rewire the brain. So here we have positive affirmations and the circle of gratefulness around your heart, okay? Of course, there are other things that you can totally do to rewire the brain, because we can talk about nutrition, which is a huge, huge thing that you can do to help take your belief system, to take your energy, your positivity, your health to the next level. But I'm not going to touch on that right now. I just want to throw that little tidbit out there for you. I want you all to know that you can rewire the brain. The brain has zero ability to store motivation. Y'all hear my dog? She's like agreeing with us, by the way. Yes, you can rewire the brain. So Jim Rohn, I don't know how many of you know Jim Rohn, but he was probably the #1 personal development person ever in the whole entire world besides John Maxwell. Jim Rohn would say the only kind of motivation is self-motivation. And how do you get self-motivation? Well, it's in the way that you talk to yourself. So I want to know how you're talking to yourself. So for me personally, not only did I think I was ugly, I didn't really verbalize it too much out loud, but I said it to myself. And then I thought I wasn't good enough to have success. I wasn't good enough to have a job that I really wanted. But remember, it's biblical to have visions, right? So, or the people perish. And I want you all to know that I know what it's like to be sad. I know what it's like to be really stressed, but I also know what it's like to come out on the other side. We didn't even touch base on post-traumatic growth, post-traumatic stress disorder, because that's something that I am a huge fan of, teaching people on how they can have post-traumatic growth as well. And it does have to do with what I just told you right now. So I would love for you all to reach out to me. This is short, sweet, and to the point. Just wanted to lay the foundation for you on this. You can send me an email to alara@laraspragg.com, and I will send you my ebook, How to Face Your Fears and Live a Life with Passion. There's a workbook included. You can get it for free if you watch this video. And I do some personal coaching, and I'll offer it to those who watch this video for a deep discount. So reach out to me, Lara@laraspragg.com, and we'll be able to start helping you, and I can help you individually overcome those negative thoughts. So I want to hear from you. I'm cheering you all on, and I'm looking at the time here. Like I said, it's short, sweet, and to the point. Learning how to do this Zoom thing, you all. Yeah, there's a lot more I want to say. So I've done countless hours of research, and I just wanted to be able to share with you what I discovered for those of you who really didn't have time to do that, but want to know the information, and that's what I'm here for. So I have resources, I have friends who can also help you out too. So I just wanted to build the tribe, let you all know that you can rewire the brain. Grateful heart exercise, positive affirmation. Why? Belief system. Simple. Maybe you're not going to believe me, but I dare you to try it in the moment. In that moment when you're so mad or sad, start practicing what you're thankful for. And I use that word practice because it's a daily thing. I guarantee you it will work. So here it is. Here I am, just sharing my heart. And I want to get to know all of you, so please reach out to me, Lara@laraspragg.com, or some of you are Facebook friends, so reach out to me that way as well, and I'll cheer you on. So here's my phrase. Remember, what you say, no matter if it's in your head or out loud, is what you become. Have a great day, guys. Bye.